welcome to American in Yerevan, an evening program on 103.0 Radio Van.
With Stephen Ochsner.
And Ina MK. We're here every Wednesday and Friday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. in Yerevan.
And dear boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, men and women, grandmas and grandpas, tonight we are speaking about
gender.
Men and women.
Men and women, and what that means.
What
Not
that
biologically.
means.
It's pretty clear, I think, even before birth these days. It's amazing that has changed, I think, within the past at least, 100 years or something. That now we know what gender our child will be before it's born. It didn't always used to. It wasn't always that way, right?
Oh, yeah, in some
cases it's not.
Countries,
in some countries still it's not.
In some countries, they leave blank the gender part.
Until
the child decides what to be. Isn't that interesting as well?
Even if they've taken an ultrasound?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So they've seen it.
In Europe, they did even after the child is born, they leave it blank.
Oh,
Steven.
now it's that way.
Yeah.
I see. So in some countries, they just don't know because ultrasound really is not affordable still.
Yeah.
Right? And in other countries, you leave it until the child decides for him or herself. So yes, today we're talking about all of these issues. I think it can just go so deep and so wide what it means to be a man or what it means to be a woman. Has a lot to do with our conditioning, has a lot to do with how we feel on the inside.
And our cultures, our mentality, and what we are.
So stick around. We're here until 11. You can give us a call at 560901 if you're in Yerevan. And if you're somewhere else listening to us on the internet, you can call us at plus 374-1056-0901. Right now, we're going to listen to What's a Woman? Maybe we'll figure something out.
Yay.
Not one little thing.
Listening to Seal sing about one of the things that maybe a lot of people think is a truth of life, and that this world is a man's world.
Oh, yeah. But it's nothing without a woman's heart.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's find out. Okay, so we have a caller.
Steven? Okay. Maybe next time.
We have a caller. His name is Vahan.
Hey.
Vahan,
hey.
Are you here?
Hello.
Hello, Vahan.
Thanks for waiting for us.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Thank you, fine. What about you?
We're really good and even better after you gave us a call.
Yeah. You really jumped on it there, Vahan.
Yeah, we just started.
You called us right away.
Yeah, that is cool.
Thank you.
So what are you doing?
At the moment, I'm on my way to drive home and to play with my child, you know.
Cool.
You have a son or a daughter?
No, daughter.
A daughter. How old is she?
She is about 3 years, you
3
know.
years old.
I gave this call because it was interesting for me because I listened when you were talking about the gender.
Mm-hmm.
And I remembered when I went to doctor with my wife, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course, I wanted him to be a son, but when doctor, I want to be honest, when doctor said that it's going to be a daughter, I was disappointed.
Oh.
But do you still
what
think
do you think
this
now?
way?
But at the moment, I said my wife that I want to have another daughter, you know.
There you go.
That's
Bravo.
the right answer, Vahan.
Claps here. Applause.
I'm crazy about her, and I don't know. I can't imagine my life without her. I don't know.
That is a
really great
story.
Answer. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing your personal story
Well, as
with
a
us.
father of a daughter who has changed your mind about having her and being disappointed at the first, but now not being able to imagine your life without her, can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
Are women and men equals in today's world?
I think that in today's world, they try to be equal, you know.
In what ways?
But what do you think, personally?
I personally believe that they are not equal, and it is not right to make them equal, because they were born,
Different.
different. Yes,
Mhm.
they have they different.
Different way of thinking, different world.
Yes, different way of thinking, different way of doing something, and
Logical and emotional, right?
it's not necessary. It's not necessary to look them equal. It is important. I personally believe that it is important to know them, to love them how they are.
To love what's different about men and women. To love what's different about them, right?
Yes, and
Is that correct? Yeah.
And it's mostly connected to the people's thoughts, I think. And you used to know women how you see it in your family. Am I clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
You would like to see women the way you are used to seeing them, like in your family, like your mom and dad. Is that?
Yes. If you see that in your, when you see that in your family, your dad is strong and he is clever, you are looking for every man to be like that,
So you want the same model in your family today, the same model of your
that you had when you were a child.
Yeah.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
of course. Yes.
I think that's a good
Like
sign
my
about your
father is
childhood.
a role model for me.
Well, thanks.
That is great.
Yeah, thank you for your very deep and honest answer. Do you have a song that you'd like to listen to today, Vahan?
I'm sorry. Song?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes, maybe I will say one. Michael Jackson. Oh, no, George Michael. Spinning the wheels. Okay? Can
Okay. Cool.
Okay, great. Okay.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for your call, and have fun with your daughter.
Yeah, have fun at home there. And keep listening to us on 103.0 Radio Vaughan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
More Than a Woman. That song was called More Than a Woman.
I wonder what that means. Is that a good thing,
Well, I have
Steven?
something. I have something. Well, you said earlier, and you can say it now after I tell you a story about how when my daughter was born, on the day that she was born, I had to go do something. I can't remember. But I was on the street. I was walking on the street, and this guy stopped me, and he said, "Do you have some money?" And I said, "Yeah." And I gave him some money, and then he said, "How's your day going?" And I said, "Whoa, okay." And I just told him. I said, "Well, I became a father today for the first time." And he goes, "Wow, you became a father? Is it a boy or a girl?" And I said, "It's a girl." And he goes, "Nichivo." Nichivo. Like, don't worry about it.
It's okay.
And for me,
Did
I
he
didn't
start
know.
encouraging you about that?
Well, yeah, he was like trying to
Yeah.
boost me up. Yeah, don't worry, it's all okay.
It's all
And I
fine.
didn't know because I haven't lived in Armenia for that long, and I wasn't sure. I just didn't know that every
you didn't know
first
what it
child
was
should be a
about.
boy.
Yeah.
And that Nichivo means try again next time. And
Try again. Okay, Steven, try again. Good luck
it
next
was
time.
just amazing to me. Such a
Yeah.
a very shocking
Very
cultural moment. I did
cultural
what you just
thing.
did. I started laughing, just out loud, just laughing, and he
Well,
he
it is
seemed
funny.
pretty confused, but I think he was drunk, so it was okay. So I just kept walking, and I went.
So, but yeah, this is a really cultural thing. A lot of men here just are so. They are even obsessed with this thought of having a boy.
Having a boy.
Yeah,
It should
a
be a boy.
boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, when this boy is eventually born in a family, he becomes a subject of worshipping.
Oh, for the family.
Yes.
He is the firstborn child.
Yes.
He
is
takes.
a boy.
He's gonna get all of the stuff after. He gets the whole kingdom. Just like
Exactly. The little king, the little
Yeah.
prince is born.
Yeah.
And even if there are sisters in the family or other siblings,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. The boy
The
stays a boy.
firstborn.
He's the king.
Well, but what about you and your family?
In my family, Steven, I'm an only child. And please don't say that phrase. Don't.
Ничего.
Ничего. No. You're spoiled. The first thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
The
you
first
mean
thing I used to hear in the U.S. when I was saying I'm an only child, they go like, "Oh, so you're spoiled." It was like a statement, not even a question. Well, my dad, you know what he says? That I'm better than 10 sons, 10 boys.
You're better than 10 boys.
Yes.
That's cool. I think Vahan probably
Just
feels
so
the
you
same
know.
way.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well,
I'm
I
glad your
hope
dad
Vahan
says that.
enjoyed the song that he just ordered.
Yeah.
On
If you have a
air
song that you'd
and-
like to listen to, or if you'd like to chat with us,
Yes,
call
please.
us at
Give us a call.
560901, 560901.
Yeah.
But this thing about gender,
Yeah.
it starts from childhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
This conditioning that we get from the very beginning, starting with colors. Because there's
Oh
pink.
yeah, the blue and the
there's
pink.
blue.
I hate that.
Tell us what you really think.
Yes,
Ina.
I really. I'm gonna be honest now. I don't like that. I never. Well, my son, he never wore the blue all over stuff.
Yeah.
Starting from the first day he was born.
You put him in pink?
No, I put him in the colors that I love,
Right.
like
Orange and
yellow,
yellow.
green. You know. Yeah, and well, actually, this thing gets kind of really upsetting sometimes about the gender thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm speaking about abortions. You know, here.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, in Armenia. Well, I don't know about the rest of the world, but in Armenia, we hear about these cases when they have an abortion just because they had a girl.
Oh, yes. I've heard even that at the ultrasound, that it's actually technically the doctor is not supposed to tell you. Is that right? Because of this
No.
issue. No? Maybe that's a rumor that I heard.
No, it's not
Scratch
really.
it. I never
Yeah,
said
yeah,
that.
scratch it. It's not that I know of. Not
But that
I've
is a
heard
really
of.
big problem. Even
It
I don't
is.
think it's just Armenia, because I've heard about this same thing happening in China,
Really?
where there are strict
That is
laws about how
really
many
sad.
children you can have. You know, in
Horrible.
general, how many you can have one, and then you start having to pay the government. I think is what I've
Mhm.
heard. So this was something that we studied in high school about how a lot of times there are abortions because they want their child to be a boy.
Yeah, so in
Which leads me to believe
either
that we're
way.
really not equal.
Mhm.
It's a tricky subject.
Did we get the answer to our show tonight, Steven?
Yes, we answered the question. Show's over.
Steven, another thing about the boy and girl thing, like
Let's hear it.
the stereotype of the girls have to play with dolls, the boys have to play with cars and guns and
Yeah.
stuff like that. you
Fire
know.
trucks,
Yeah.
tanks, soldiers.
Have you ever played with dolls,
Ugh,
Steven?
you had to ask me. When I was a kid, I had a neighbor. Her name was Erin, and she had Barbies. And when I saw her Barbies, I went crazy. I think because I was supposed to become an actor, and I really liked the situations that Barbie could be in with Ken or with her friends, like the different costumes she could put on. And so I would.
Maybe you were attracted to those dolls.
Well, I
don't
also
you think?
she has a really cosmic body, you could say, about
Oh yeah,
Barbie, which actually they've proven is an impossibility. That if a woman had that small a waist and that big of a chest,
she wouldn't
that
be
she
able to
wouldn't
walk.
be able to. Poor Barbie.
Poor Barbie.
Ugh.
What have
Anyway,
they done
so I
to
told
you?
my only best friend at the time when I was very, very young, and then we were at karate class, and I found out that he had told everyone at karate that I play with Barbies. And
What a
that was the first
shame,
time
what
in
a
my
shame.
childhood when I realized that if you have a secret,
Uh-huh.
you should probably keep it to yourself.
Yeah, if you share it, you lose it.
Yep, that's exactly
Just
it.
like the last time we had with the riddles. Yeah, well, my son has my childhood doll.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and he
he plays with-
enjoys playing with it. Actually,
cool.
he enjoys drawing on it with all kinds of markers.
He's
Yeah.
going to be a tattoo artist.
Yes, I think maybe. Well, and I had many friends. When they saw this, they would go like, "Oh no, a boy's playing with a doll! Please take it away from him!" and stuff like. I'm like, okay, I'm not paying that attention to this kind of stuff. Just like with the girls playing with cars, a lot of moms drive cars. And
Yeah,
why can't the girls play with cars?
My mom has a car. Why can't I have a car?
Yeah, sure. More on that.
When we come back, right now we're listening to When a Woman Loves by R. Kelly.
Don't forget to call us.
Listening to Leonard Cohen on Radio Vaughn. I'm your man. We're talking about men and women today.
And dear listeners, did you know what we found out while we were preparing for our show tonight? Stephen, that there are a lot more songs about women than about men.
Huh.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, but that's the fact.
Huh. It might have, like in ancient Greece, there were the muses. And poets talk about muses all the time. If a muse comes to me, the muse is always a woman.
Yes.
And in Russian, muza, it's always женский род.
Women have always inspired men.
Yeah.
For bigger deeds, for creations, for art, for singing, dancing.
You know what I just thought about?
What is that?
When I was growing up, we watched the show Seinfeld all the time. It was like Friends, kind of, like a sitcom about people living in New York and having these kind of just like weird lives in New York. And the main character, Jerry Seinfeld, had all of these different girlfriends all the time. And one of his girlfriends in one of the episodes was this woman who she liked to walk around the apartment naked all the time.
No, I see now why you like that show, Steven.
It was on TV. They didn't show anything, but they talked about how
bad.
she was naked all the time in the apartment. And at first he was like, yeah, this is great. She's naked all the time. But after a while he started thinking, he was like, well, if she's naked, can't I just walk around the apartment naked all the time? And so he started.
That's logical. Man's logic.
There was this part of the episode where he was around the apartment hanging out, like making lunch, and he was naked. And she told him, you can't do that. She said, you can't be naked anymore. Yeah, that's what he said. He was like, why? What? You're naked. Why can't I be naked? That's not fair. And she said, well, a woman's body is a piece of art, Jerry. A man's body is a piece of machinery.
It's a piece of crap. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that.
But if you think about it, we have a television in our studio, and if you watch us on radiovon.fm, you can see that we show music videos all the time. And if you watch music videos enough, you'll notice that more often than not, a man is clothed and a woman has fewer and fewer clothes on.
That's propaganda.
That's totally propaganda.
Yeah, like women's beauty and the way she looks is more important than the brains.
Her brains or her talent. This is I don't think it's true, but it's socially maybe an aspect of pop culture.
But I'm pretty sure that there are some other people who propagate the opposite stuff. Like all these women.
Yeah, there is a counterculture in America where women purposely try to look like grungy, they wear like
I don't care how I
flannel
look.
shirts and jeans with rips in them all the time, because they don't care how they look, or no makeup, But then there's another counterculture where they do all of that. Well, we're going to talk more about this. Give us a call, 560901. But for now, we're going to listen to Don't Let the Man Get You Down.
Oh, yeah.
Freaky people.
And we're back here in the studio on American in Yerevan, and we have a caller.
Irene.
Good evening.
And dear Istina.
Oh, good evening. How are you doing?
I always enjoy listening to your program.
That is so nice to hear.
Our winters, are very cold, and you make us warmer.
Oh, that's a nice thing to say. Thanks.
I also had a lot of Barbies.
Yes.
When I was a kid.
Yay.
I had 10 Barbies.
You
and
had
I
10?
A
liked
collection.
Oh.
Yay.
them very much. And only 2, we called it Cindy's.
Cindy's.
And Cindy's.
Did she have was she the Japanese one?
Yes.
That's a fake Barbie.
And I called her Yoko Ono.
Yoko Ono.
I've never heard of that.
Yoko Ono?
I've heard of
Okay.
Yoko Ono, but
Not
not
of the Barbie.
Barbie
Yeah.
Yoko Ono. And I'm thinking, would she be pretty enough?
Well, she'd be dangerous. That's for sure.
Okay.
They were all were very pretty. And
Irene.
First of all, Stephen, may I ask you a question?
Of course.
Does the American want his woman or his wife or girl to be like his own mother? Or maybe your opinion differs from ours.
Oh, there we have something coming up here. We have
This is
stories about.
tricky. Yeah. Well, are you saying the American as in me or the average American?
Because Stephen is not, an average American. He's American in Yerevan, Irene. Don't forget about that.
An American living in the USA.
I think that probably. Well, it's hard to say anything categorically about any one culture, but yeah, I think that there are definitely men who want their wife or their woman to be like their mother.
Maybe subconsciously.
But I think can I tell you a joke really quick? Because you set us up perfectly for this joke. Ready?
Ready.
Thank you
We're
for
ready,
answer.
Stephen.
Well, I don't want a man and a woman to be
Irene
equal.
doesn't want to hear your jokes, Stephen.
It's kind of passive aggressive. All right, tell us. I'll tell the joke later. What did you want to say?
I don't want a man and a woman to be equal.
You don't?
Because I think everyone should be in his or her own place.
That's
I want
wise.
my man to be strong and brave and clever.
Noble.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can feel myself protected. And if I behave myself womanly,
Feminine.
feminine, yes, sorry.
Feminine? Uh-huh.
Feminine.
Sure, go ahead.
I can help him to feel himself stronger. Beside me,
Cool.
I see.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what is it exactly that means act womanly or feminine?
I don't know.
Like, maybe gentle, caring, right? This is what you mean, Irene.
Delicate?
Delicate?
Warm, gentle,
Warm,
yes.
gentle. Yeah.
I'm not sure I can explain.
It's a tricky one. I asked you a pretty tricky question. How about this?
Steven,
How about this
stop
question?
confusing
I have another
our
question
callers,
for you.
okay?
Is it possible for a man and a woman to be friends? Is friendship
course.
possible?
Of course.
Oh,
It
there
is
we have.
possible. Of course. And I share the opinion this is the man's world, but it would be nothing without a woman or a girl.
Without the heart. I think that you're onto something, definitely, for sure.
You know, Irene, Oscar Wilde does not agree with you about the friendship. You know what he says? You want to know what he says?
Oscar Wilde.
Oscar Wilde said that between men and women, there is no friendship possible. There is passion, enmity, worship, love, but no friendship.
It's not possible.
There you
Maybe
go.
19th century.
And it's a little tricky.
This is the 21st century.
It is a 21st century.
Oh, times are changing, right? And values are
I
changing.
don't agree with him.
It's good to stick to your guns. I'm glad. I like that about you, Irene. Irene, you're our first caller.
And please keep calling and calling us because we enjoy listening to your opinions and listening to the songs that you are ordering. And right now we'll be
Right now
listening.
we're going to listen to Randy Crawford, one of my favorite performers and my favorite song called
When I Get Over You.
And I'm going to dedicate this song to you both.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great evening, Irene.
Thank you.
Radio 1 listeners, we were listening to Jason Mraz, a song, The Woman I Love. And tonight we're speaking about men and women and gender. And Steven, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
Shoot. What do you think about chivalry?
Chivalry.
Yes.
Oh.
Are you a knight? In your family?
Chivalry.
Or in life? Or on stage? Or either way? Or...
Well, I hold the door all the time. Sometimes in my life it goes like this. There's a restaurant or a store or something. I open the door and I hold it for whoever I'm with, right? And they go through, and then there's someone behind them and they come through, and then there's someone behind them and they come through, and then I end up standing there for, like an hour just waiting, holding the door for everyone.
Well, I'd call that a gentleman, but
that's not chivalry?
I don't think so.
You mean
It's
like
more
flowers
about
and
deeds, about
deeds, protection.
About all these things that princesses wait.
Like what? Okay, what
little
do you
princesses.
wait for? Let me ask you a question. What do you wait for in your prince? What does your prince do? He goes and fights the dragons? Because
Yes.
there aren't, as far as I understand, there aren't any
He should fight.
dragons.
First of all, he should fight dragons inside his mind and soul.
Oh,
How about that?
yeah, I do that. Okay, what else?
Cool. Can you show me the dead
He-
dragons?
he-
The evidence. Where's the evidence, Steven?
Well,
Where are the dead dragons?
if they're on the inside, how am I have to cut my chest open,
Steven.
open it, and
It's a joke, you know?
Oh, that was a joke. Yeah,
That was
yeah.
a joke.
So if you're listening and you heard the joke and you're laughing, then you got the joke and I didn't. That's great.
That's
Of course,
American
yeah.
thing, you know.
Yeah.
I should have put a smiley face there.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah,
Cultural differences.
Okay, Steven.
So there's.
And I expect from my knight to conquer all the difficulties in life, to be the leader, to be the protector.
Yeah.
Yes, why not
Sh-
all the flowers and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. I do those things. Yeah. I protect. I protect. I have a. Yeah. I do that.
Cool.
I think that in a way, we had this feminist movement in America. I think it started in the 70s, kind of, but it had its big peak at the end of the 80s and the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's a big topic, equality in America, and whether we have it, whether it exists, whether it's progressing. If women, they're still not on the same pay scale as men in America, and we still have never had a woman president in America, and so there's a lot of questions about whether equality is actual equality, or if we've just kind of made a small step at some point in our history, and everyone's like relaxed now, and it's still not equal. But one thing, a side effect of all of this that has happened, is men have become sort of embittered, because there's a lot of kind of bitterness about it, like men still make all the money, and they still expect us to be pretty all the time, and all of this stuff. And then men start going, well, if you want to be equal, then I don't have to hold the door for you. If you want to be equal, then I shouldn't have to pay for your dinner when we go on dates. And so now there's like this gender war going on. Yeah, because as far as I understand here, even if... Oh, we have a caller. We have a caller. Hello? Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Thank you.
What is your name?
My name is Lilith.
Hi,
Hi,
Lily.
Lilith.
Hi.
Thanks for
hi,
calling
guys.
us today. Can we ask you a question, Lynette?
Of course, but I can't hear you,
You can't hear me?
No, not good.
Not clearly. I see.
Do you have your radio on?
Yes, I will.
Could you
turn
please
it off.
Could you please turn it down a little bit? Cause
Okay, now
That
it's
may
okay.
improve our
Okay.
situation. How do you hear us now? Are we coming in clear?
Yes, you're
Over.
clear now.
there you
Oh,
go.
great.
Cool.
Okay, I have a question. Do you think chivalry is dying in today's world?
I think that it is.
Why?
Why do you think this?
Unfortunately. I think that the problem is women are getting more ambitious and even more enterprising. Some women throughout the world, they are earning even more than some men. They are occupying
There, right.
and they even conduct and they I don't know how to say, but I think that the main reason of that problem is that women are getting more ambitions
And more independent,
nowadays.
maybe.
Yes, and more independent. But however, there are still many gentlemen, and I hope that they will get more, and they will
keep
know
the
how
tradition of knighthood.
Yes, yes. Okay, thank
Because
you.
it is
for
a really,
asking.
it is a really pleasant thing, isn't it? I
Of
don't know. I
course.
think there's a really a lot of beauty in the fact that men not give their seat in the metro or that they have an opportunity to buy dinner for someone, even if they're not, even if the woman is not on a date with them.
Yeah, Lilith, don't you think that we still have some knights in Armenia because, like Stephen was speaking about paying for the bills and stuff? I think
Because it
Armenian.
seems like that's a status quo here.
Well,
No?
Armenian
we are
women.
still keeping some traditions.
Yes,
Armenian
we're still.
men are still keeping some traditions.
Because Armenian men would never let a woman pay for their bill, well, at least during the first date.
Yes, that's good.
And after that,
I
we'll
think
see.
not only for the
Yeah.
first, but it will be every time. Because we have some gentlemen in Armenia yet, and I hope that this tradition will not die.
Me too. I have the same opinion as you. Thanks for calling again.
And would you like to
Okay,
listen
thank
to a
you.
song, Lily?
Oh, if it's possible.
Which
Which
one?
one?
I would like to hear Celine Dion,
Uh-huh.
and I think that it's her last song, Water and Flame.
Oh, Water and Flame. Oh, great. Here it is.
Cool. Sure.
Okay.
Your list.
Stay with us. I hope you enjoy our show.
Okay, thank you very much.
Listening to Sound of a Woman on American in Yerevan on Radio Van 103.0. Excuse me. Today we're talking about gender roles. And since we're talking about all of this equality and women in the workforce and independence, I have to say something about our founder and leader of the Radio Van family, Shushanik Arefshatyan, because she's amazing. And I can't imagine what kind of road she has gone down over the past 17 years here
Can
in
you
Yerevan.
imagine 17 years?
First founding this incredible radio station and then keeping it going for 17 years, bringing in new people, keeping tons of the old people. Not that they're old. You guys aren't old. You've just been here for such a long time and keeping the atmosphere here so fun.
Yeah, and
And
the
open
atmosphere of a family.
Yeah, right. Because
This
it
is
is.
really
It's amazing how
And
here working
being
it's like
at the same time a grandma.
grandmother, a
And
mother,
doing all kinds of other stuff and having all
producing
these
films.
hobbies. Yeah.
unreal. She's a very, very powerful
So
woman.
there is another side of the absence of the knighthood thing.
Yeah, right. So this
There's
is like the
always-
lighter side of what's
Yeah.
changing in the world. Because I can't imagine. Could that have happened 60 years ago? I don't know.
I don't really think so.
No.
But if it was Shushanik,
Yeah,
it
maybe.
will still happen, I think. Okay, Steven, did you know that unfortunately the statistics of Armenian marriage and it shows that most of the women who are successful here
Oh,
and who have
who have careers
who have
and-
career, who are
Mhm.
managers, leaders, like directors and stuff, they are not married or divorced.
Oh,
Yeah.
single.
So basically,
Oh, right.
yeah, maybe
Why?
it's because
Why do you think that is?
maybe
is it
they
about
have more
marriage that-
time to concentrate on their work when they
Wow.
don't have.
When they don't have families?
Well, not really, because a lot of women have kids but don't have
Oh,
them.
so
Yeah.
it's about marriage itself.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me, what is it about marriage?
Maybe
then?
I can tell you our tradition about getting married right at the church when they give the vows to
Okay,
each
yeah,
other.
sure.
I think it's
What happens?
a
You
really
stay
a
with them through
cultural
sickness
thing.
and health, and
Yes,
and-
yes. I think it's a really cultural thing still, because Stephen, at church the husband says, "I vow to be the master of the family," and the wife says, "I vow to obey, to be the humble." Yeah. So
Oh,
from that
so
moment
it's not
on,
just I do.
Yeah.
In English,
It's not I do.
and both people say
there
I
are
do.
certain
So I
Yeah.
vow to be the master, and I vow to obey.
Yes, and from that
Whoa.
moment, it is kind of clear that the man has to be the leader in the family, the hunter,
Okay,
like the
okay.
person who earns for the family, and
That's
a lot of things comes from that.
becoming clear. Well, I've heard about the dowries. We have a very good friend
Oh yeah,
named Ani who told us that as soon as she turned, it was like 11 or something, her parents started gathering her dowry. And by
not
the time
only
she had grown up,
parents,
she had 8
especially grandmas do that.
She had 8 suitcases of dowry. Dishes and different kinds of
Yeah, clothes, and-
slippers.
and sometimes it's like the furniture and stuff like that.
And so is this really the way that it's like I
During-
become obedient
Did you know
I
during the old
submit
times,
if I'm
if the girl didn't have the dowry, it was really a shame.
Oh.
There is a
Oh,
even-
so like
there's
like
a
we're
movie,
ashamed.
Besperidanica. Haven't you seen
No, I
that?
haven't. No.
You have to watch it.
Okay, I'll watch
It's a
that
Russian
one.
movie. It's
Oh,
classic.
wow.
Well, oh yeah, that's about the dowry. Now it's a little different. Like two people decide together what they do, but most of the time the girl still has some new stuff to take her with her to her new family.
Mhm.
Yeah, and but more about the professions
Okay.
of women.
Yeah, let's hear it.
For instance, I've noticed that in America it's like really normal to be a driver, to be a woman, and to be the driver of a bus or a taxi or something.
Sure,
It's
yeah.
really okay.
Yeah.
And here, Stephen, we have one woman driver of a taxi.
We have one.
Yeah, and everybody knows her.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like really nonsense.
Now that I think about it, that's amazing. Is it because it's like a dangerous profession or something? What is it?
It's
No,
a
because there are women
stereotype.
police officers. There can't be
they-
anything more
there
dangerous
are.
than being
Well,
a police officer.
That's kind of cool and kind of cool.
Oh yeah,
This
like
is-
with the Ray-Bans.
yeah,
and
with the taxi driving, it's a bit
the high
different here.
heels. Yeah, and taxi driving isn't so glamorous.
Yeah, like the I think the husbands wouldn't let their wives drive a taxi,
You
and
know,
fathers
my
wouldn't let their daughters drive taxis.
This is something that if you listen to this, Dad, if you're listening in America, in Colorado Springs, I apologize, but I'm
Mhm.
going to
Hello,
say
Steve's
something
dad.
that he used to say in our childhood all the time. He has a very big prejudice about women driving.
Mhm.
We had this thing about women's suffrage when women were able to vote. You know, it was a moment
Yeah,
in history, and and it was like a question for a while. Should women be allowed to vote? I don't know. And so my dad, in light of that historical event, he always says, "Let them vote, but don't let them drive."
Oh, there are
He thinks that women should not be allowed to
same
drive.
thing. A lot of men joking about how women drive here. They say driving woman is like a monkey with a bomb.
Oh, come on.
You
Really?
never
but
know.
statistically
You never
in America,
know.
I don't know how it is here, but in America, statistically, women get in much less accidents, have much
Exactly, because
fewer
women
problems
are a lot more careful.
with
you know,
driving.
yeah.
Men want to show how
Yeah,
tough they
they
are.
wanna
and how
show
fast they
off
can
and
go
stuff.
Yeah.
And women are more, patient and more careful with driving. Yeah, okay, so please,
Unbelievable. Yeah. So, men, I don't have a
please
car
look
yet.
up the statistics, okay?
But yeah, any of you guys who are out there driving, guys, give them a break, because if you just read the statistics, you know that your aggression is not helping anyone. I'm trying to teach people here. No, I shouldn't be trying to teach people. Maybe we should go to a song.
Sure. What are we listening to?
Well, this is funny actually, because there's this other stereotype that men don't cry at movies.
Oh,
You know, like-
oh no,
like
they
men
do.
don't cry.
I know men
Like,
who
I
cry
don't-
at movies.
There aren't any men who cry. Men don't cry. You know,
Men
this one is
never
called
cry.
"Man Enough to Cry." which is
Tony
like
Bennett?
it's turned around on it. We turned it around on you.
We're breaking
So we're gonna listen to
stereotypes
Eric
here.
Bennett, Man Enough to Cry. Stick around. We still have a few moments left. It's so touching to hear about a man who is willing to cry for his woman.
Oh yeah,
We
baby.
couldn't get past an episode of Gender with American and Yerevan without that. That's true. And we also can't get past it without a couple of jokes.
Sure.
Good old Armenian jokes.
Go
that
ahead, you
I
first.
think that if anyone's listening to us abroad, it might not be so clear why this is funny, but for everyone listening in Yerevan, I have a joke, and then Ina has a joke. So my joke is this.
Can I say one word about? Okay, we have this thing, mothers worshiping in the families.
Yeah,
Okay?
mother worship.
Yeah,
Mom is the most
important
the most
figure.
important, the most enlightened,
Woman.
the strongest, the most intelligent
Yeah,
of everyone.
the best
Yeah.
cooker.
The best cook. Yeah, the best caretaker.
Yeah,
Everything.
so
Yeah.
this is Armenian thing. So,
So
go
here's-
ahead,
here's a
Steven.
joke. You ruined the punchline, but here we go. So there's a French guy and a British guy and an Armenian guy, and all three of them are asked the same question: who do you love more, your wife or your lover? So the French guy says, I don't know. I love my wife because we've lived together for decades and we have children together. We've gone through all of these hardships together. But I love my lover because she makes me feel young and alive, and I can be impulsive with her and I can tell her everything that's on my mind, So I think probably I love my lover more than my wife. And then the British guy said, yeah, I don't know, I love my lover because she makes me feel young and I can be impulsive with her and we have all of these great
Passionate.
adventures. It's really passionate. But I love my wife because, we've been through everything together. We have kids together. We've gone through emotional hardships, economic hardships. Yeah, I love my wife more. And then the Armenian guy, he says, well, I don't know. I love my wife because we have children together. We've gone through hardships together. We lived for years and years together. And I love my lover because she makes me feel young and there's so much passion and I can be impulsive with her. But more than anyone, I love my mom.
Aww.
That's a
Okay.
good old Armenian
That's really typical.
anecdote.
And I'm gonna go with my
Okay, here we go.
joke.
Your joke.
Okay, a man gets married and never likes the food that his wife makes. And
Okay.
one day, when his wife makes like green beans
Mm-hmm.
and she accidentally burns them,
Yeah.
but then she has to give that to her husband because she doesn't have time to cook for
there's nothing
something
else.
else.
She's
Yeah,
got
she
to-
puts that on the table, and when her husband tries it, she's like waiting. Oh my
like it.
gosh, another bad comment again coming, and then he tries it and says, "Oh, finally, just like my mother always made it."
That's a knee slapper. That's a knee slapper for sure. Well, thanks for joining us today. It is now 10:58 and
We're
3
almost
seconds.
gone.
So it means that we have to go home. Until Friday at 9 p.m., come back and join us. Give us a call, 560-901 on Friday.
And take care of your women and men and each other.
Take care of everyone that
Yeah.
is in your life. Love and be loved. Come back to us and keep listening.